Final update. I hope. It's been months since the last update. Sorry, I've been busy. Long story short, my wife is in a mental health facility.
Mental illness is in the room.
You called it.
I know.
You called it. I'm so scared.
Good for her. Let her make those charts in her facility.
I think we're good here, folks. Bye. After what happened previously, I did not speak to my wife for a while. I tried to stay working or out of the house as often as I could. Well, a few weeks passed and time made it seem like less and less of a big deal. Finally, my wife offered to take me out to a very nice restaurant and make things up to me. She told me everything was behind her, and while I was avoiding her, she had actually started online therapy to get help and realized now that what she did was wrong. I really believed her, and we had a great night. One thing led to another, and yeah, LOL. It took about 2 days after that for her to get a pregnancy test, and she texted me the positive result. Yeah, I know some of you already think I'm a fucking moron, but it had been a rough year, and this made me really happy. I started getting very excited. We started talking about turning my home office to a baby room, looking up ways to prepare, book appointments, planning a shower, etc. A really fun but whirlwind week. Unfortunately, she told me the first ultrasound was at a time I had to be at work, and she would have to go alone. Really bummed me out, and I asked her to reschedule, but she said it was the only availability. Well, that next week she went, and I was waiting for an update, a picture, anything, nothing. She came home and was super quiet, and I flipped out and got super worried that the worst has happened. I told her I understood she was probably in a lot of pain and something, but she told me she had to tell me something. She finally admitted, no, she wasn't dealing with losing the baby, but she was actually pregnant for longer than she thought, longer than the last time we did it.
Uh-oh.
She actually got pregnant during the time I was avoiding her. What?
Do we think the neighbor?
Ugh.
How are we going back to the neighbor?
Ma'am! Obviously, I was so mad and upset. I couldn't understand why she would do this to me. But then I realized all the signs were there for so long, and all the comments telling me she was probably cheating were right. But I tried to keep a clear head for at least a second because I really love my wife and I couldn't believe it. I asked her who it could have been, and she actually said she didn't know. She said she hadn't done it with anyone during the time I was avoiding her.
Mm-hmm. Math. The math ain't mathin'.
She swore it and also didn't know what this meant. I thought about it and realized if she was really pregnant for that long, her tummy should be showing, and it wasn't. I decided to call the place and ask them to confirm what they said. My wife told me it would be a waste of time, and she promised she heard them clearly, so I didn't do it that night. But I couldn't sleep without hearing it from the doctors for myself. I called the clinic she told me she went to the next day in the morning and asked them to confirm the results. They told me something worse than I expected. She had no visit. She was never there. I didn't understand that at all. Before I talked to my wife again, I did what I should have done in the first place and reverse image searched the pregnancy test image. Yeah, it was on Google from a random years-old Facebook post. I was again really mad at my wife and couldn't believe that she had put me through all of this.
Damn, what is she doing?
I am just, wow. I confronted her about the picture and that I called the place and there was no appointment. I told her she had a pattern of lying and this was probably the end of our relationship. But she responded in a way I didn't expect. She burst into tears and had a manic episode, but then said that she really had cheated on me and really was pregnant and that I had made this up in my head because I couldn't face what she did to me. She said she felt like the devil and started sobbing and literally screaming at the top of her lungs. She locked herself in the bathroom and told me she was going to hurt herself over what she did to me. I couldn't get the door open and freaked out. I called the cops and they broke down the door. She wasn't hurt, but she was really out of it. They took her to get mental health help and she told them everything there. She even started mixing in stuff about the board and how she knew everyone around her was a cheater, so she had done the same because she was in an evil place. She promised them she was pregnant, but she didn't know who the father was. They tested her while she was in custody. No pregnancy at all. They told me she was likely suffering from a form of schizophrenia and acted genuinely believing that what she was saying was true and likely always had to some level, but it seemed to be getting worse. They said she had a symptom called self-accusation and needed help. I got her in a facility last week. She is safe. They're making a little progress. I do not think that she thinks she is pregnant anymore. I have visited a few times, but she is very withdrawn with me and says she feels too guilty to look me in the eye. I think there was definitely meddling at certain parts, like planting evidence, but now I just feel terrible that I did not get her the help she needed when all the real signs were there. I hope her medication starts to help and she can be normal again. And yeah, the neighborhood gossip is having a field day with all of this.
I bet.
Anyways, thanks for listening. I hope this is my last update. Thank you all for the help.
That's sad. That's sad because at first, the surface story, you're like, she's just being weird. Well, I'm thinking she's just being weird, whatever. But then now that she's been, she's in the mental institution, mental hospital for schizophrenia. That makes sense. That makes sense. The chart makes sense. The planting of the bra, the pregnant, like it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad for him. That sucks. It's got to be so hard.
They're both absolutely going through it.